Hey, Dawns ARKS! Welcome everyone to your Phantasy Star podcast recorded live on September 19th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar, and with me is Rooks. Go ahead and say hello.
Greetings, everyone.
So, we've got a bit of a weird one today. A lot of the side stuff, such as Clementine and Infinia, we don't have like a whole bunch of updates this time, but there are some smaller updates from them. Most of today is going to be Headline Wave. And then I will note that on the Japanese side, there's apparently going to be a secondary stream for them, but it looks like it's just going to be sort of like a walkabout on Ship 7, with them going over some of the new outfits that are coming out in October. So we're going to be passing on that, and we'll be moving directly from the Headline Wave into Sonic Roboblast to Infinity, where we have a trailer for the new version that released. So look forward to that as things progress here. But obviously with New Genesis, there is a lot of news coming out, especially with the new combat style that's being added in this particular version, the new EX style, along with... they mentioned in the roadmap there's also going to be skill rings, as well as class level cap raised to 110, but I don't know if those are all going to be happening at the same time or not. They might be splitting those up here.
I'm still not sure. Like, we're getting all this stuff, but we're not even getting that much progress in the new story. So it feels like we're getting a bunch of jingly keys here.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
There's supposed to be a new mini-episode coming out either in October or November, but aside from that, I mean, if it's another 15-minute thing, I mean, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, I think they don't even know what they're doing themselves for the story. They just created a new type of... They created a so-called new type of enemy and threw it out.
Yep. Yeah, and I'll pull this up real quick while we have a moment here. Once again, looking at the roadmap here. So, yeah, in October to November, we've got, like I said before, the EX style, the skill rings, and the level cap being raised to 110, along with some new enemies. The thing that still kind of has my interest here is what's going to happen between December and January, given the image of the PSO Ragol Rappy that we see there. So I'm really curious what that's going to be all about. But obviously we're not going to hear anything about that today. It is what it is. We'll find out. Obviously, we're also going to be making... they're going to tell us about the Halloween event that's going to be coming up as well in October. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at here today. Looks like they might be starting here.
Yeah, the live stream's live, but it's still just a static image.
Yeah, alright, I'll take that away for a moment here while we wait for that. But then, the other thing is we also have, finally, a really clear look at those character sheets for the tabletop version, which you said you were interested in before.
Yes. I guess, one of my issues when I was trying to create a version of PSO2 for tabletop is the power scaling on PSO2 goes a little crazy, where the other games tend to stay relatively sane. I mean, in PSO2, you go from basically a ground foot soldier to someone who's fighting a universe-ending being at the end.
Yeah, it's...
So when... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's never just a really simple adventure. But you were continuing?
And we're starting.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, here we go.
NGS NGS Headline Wave. Hello everyone. It's time for NGS Headline Wave, the official program of PSO2 New Genesis version 2.
I'm pulling that back a bit.
I'm Yui Hasegawa, and I'll be your host for this broadcast. I'll be bringing you all the latest info on NGS. Be sure to stay tuned until the end. The last episode was so much fun! I'm so glad I got to enjoy Alter Realm exploration together with all our guests. Oh? You want to know more about land? Not in this episode. Now, once again, this program is to inform players about upcoming campaigns and updates for Sega's online RPG, PSO2 New Genesis version 2, also known as NGS.
Yeah, last time they did a live show, there was we were thinking this might have been another live show here, but apparently not.
Tune into this program to learn all you need to know about
Still
NGS
odd they're
now
doing
and
it in the middle of the
That's Headline Wave in a
month
nutshell.
like this.
I agree, yeah.
This is a pre-recorded broadcast.
It might simply
If
be
you'd
that
like to watch it in
they
Japanese, you can check it out on the
they
Japanese
wanted to have
NGS
enough
YouTube
time to get everything ready to show it off, I guess. Like maybe they had stuff that wasn't
Without
ready
further
for
ado,
September or
let's move on
something.
to the updates you've all been waiting for.
But I guess maybe when it comes to October, they'll push it back to the end of the month.
First off, I'd like to share some
For
info
the next
on
headline,
the updates
I
from
mean.
end of September into October.
Okay.
Let's start with the video.
Is that rice on their head there?
Yep.
I don't know. I'm probably happy with the tail I got, but I'll need to take another look, I guess.
Okay, right at the beginning of October 1, new mini episode.
Okay, yeah, that is. I'm seeing that here. Yeah, that's at least good that we're not waiting.
And it's more sharing feelings and nonsense. We have a new enemy, and you're doing this not. I can already tell you this is going to be a B. This is going to be a F rating again. We don't care about Hibana. We don't care about. Yes, that's already getting enough.
Yeah, it feels like it's another 15-minute thing. Okay, so there's the new combat style. GX style. I said this in Discord, and I'm gonna say it again here. I hope there's a way to turn off this cutscene that they give you. Crimson Realm is coming back, apparently.
They must not be satisfied with the amount of active players they have right now in order to be forcing so much FOMO.
Yeah, I don't know. We can only guess at what they're, it's kind of caught me off guard there. We can't necessarily get inside their mind. We can only guess, but yeah, it definitely feels that way. Balance adjustments for the card game. Alright, I am muting that because that does not sound Phantasy Star like there. Yeah, this is the Guilty Princess collab.
I have never heard of the series.
Yeah, neither have I. I'm not even sure if these outfits. Well, no, we've had other crazier outfits in the past. I guess it didn't seem like it necessarily fit with the style that they use in game.
Well, the wind-up toy ones don't quite, but then again, those cybernetic crystal-looking wings kind of do.
I guess to a degree, yeah.
It's never been a priority of Sega about keeping a cohesive visual identity for New Genesis.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, they're figures. Okay. Yeah, in base, at least for the global side, you didn't get so many crazy outfits since they were locked to mostly the Sega properties. But yeah, on the Japanese side, yeah, they definitely did have some crazier outfits in there. In fact, what was it? I think they brought Link from Legend of Zelda in at one point, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you would get the Hylian Sword and Shield for logging in on the Switch.
All right, I'm gonna assume we can bring up the audio again here.
How was it? Let me go through the details with these slides. Here's some information that wasn't featured in the promo video. On September 21st, to coincide with PSO2 Day, we will be releasing the Revival AC Scratch Ticket PSO2 Memories September 2025. Avatar items from PSO2 will be making a return. In addition, for the Scratch Count bonus, you'll receive a Scratch Ticket prize slip every 15 draws, plus another chance to get the Kneel emote and more. Next up is this. The new AC Scratch Ticket, Blazing Marshall, kicks off on September 23rd. Pick up martial arts and kung fu themed outfits and emotes, along with a variety of items such as the eating pork bun idle motion. For the scratch count bonus, check out the feather fan.
I'm gonna have to take a look
changes, with
back
alternate versions
to
of the
taking a
motion
look
change
at that
items
tail
included in the
there.
scratch ticket lineup.
Because it doesn't look like they're showing it in this here.
A new mini episode will be released on October 10th. Continuing from the episode released in August, it will depict the evolving feelings of your companions following the battle with Vile. An additional task-linked episode focusing on Hibana, a character deeply connected to Crawford and Glenn, will also be available, so keep an eye out for that too. This episode will be unlocked as you progress through the main tasks.
If they're gonna start going
If you
back
haven't
to
advanced the
characters
main
that have
task yet,
died
now's the
already,
time.
then where's a mini episode about Lysis?
Next, allow me to introduce a
I
new
know,
player
I'm just
enhancement system called
I'm just
EX
throwing
Style.
stuff at the wall at this point to see if anything will even
Use
work,
this
I guess.
system to strengthen your character by selecting a style from multiple available options, similar to choosing a main or subclass. When you set a style, you can unlock a special action called After Blast, as well as unique skills that differ for each style. After Blast is an EX style exclusive action. It's a powerful move that can be used after activating a Photon Blast. In addition to its high damage, it also triggers extra effects depending on the skills of the style that you have equipped.
From what I understand, you
When
have to
activated,
hit
a
the
special
Photon
camera
Blast
animation
button
will play,
again.
so be sure to check that out in-game.
That's what I've heard too.
If you prefer, you can turn off this animation in the options menu.
Also, it looks like you gain
Like regular
experience, so if
classes,
you got any of
styles also
those
have levels.
experience tickets remaining, go ahead and use them. I know I still
When you
have
gain experience
both of
while
my...
style is set, its level will increase, granting you skill points needed to learn that style's skills.
Yeah, I got those 100 million tickets they gave out a while ago still.
Style levels and skill points are shared across all characters, so you don't need to level them individually. 3 different styles are coming in this update. Each style has its own traits and affinity, so try them out and choose the one that best matches your playstyle or
So
the
I'm going
quest you're
to address something that Super Batter is saying in general.
tackling. Limited time tasks will also
Super
be added
Batter, you know
alongside this
how afraid Sega is
Complete
of
these tasks
changing
to
the
earn
layout
rewards
of the
such as special
game
scratch
right now.
tickets and silver Big Bang scratch
It's probably one of the reasons why we can never see Central get
Additionally,
blown
the
up or
level cap for
anything,
all
or
classes will
will
be raised to
get
110.
situations where there's no
Try out the
longer
new EX styles, level up, and
dolls
take on
on
new
the
quests.
field or fighting against other enemies or character enemy and fighting
From
or
October
any
1st for 1
massive
week only,
changes to the
Crimson Realm
layout
appeared
or
in Kavera's
setup.
combat sectors.
Even though they could do it
This
just
time, the
by
location
setting
will
up
alternate
a
between Belladonna
separate
Ruins
rank
and
for
Lost
each
Central.
area.
In the Crimson Realm, the weather turns a menacing red, and stars
Yeah,
and
maybe it
enemies
makes
get
sense for them
stronger.
to start moving people into
Complete the
into
trial side missions that
Nameless
change
City.
over with a set probability to change PSE bursts to Forte or Encore. This will be a great opportunity to level up both your class and EX style levels. Next up is a new augment called Terra Trial. You can create it in the Item Labs Exchange enhancement materials under augment capsules. To exchange for it, you will need Giga Trial as well as a new augment, Grau Trial. Grau Tria is dropped by enemies in the Crimson
I don't
Realm
think it's so
and will
much
also
tech
be
that
available
it's
should you
already
drop it.
built systems. They've already built the systems into the
Furthermore,
game. They're just
Creative
not
Space will
using
now
it.
be getting new Stia
In fact, there's so
inspired
many
items such as
stuff
the Stiara
that
Hexablock and
stuff
Stiara
that they could
Hexafiller.
make work. Honestly, I should not be
Why use
talking
them
over
to
the
give your creative
live
and
stream,
alliance
but
spaces a fresh
I'll
look.
try to remind me after the live stream's over. And I'll try to
We will also
explain.
be implementing balanced
Okay.
adjustments in Line Strike, mainly to attack power, for 8 cards from the existing lineup that had low usage rates in decks. Please take this opportunity to try out the adjusted cards. Please note that due to these balance changes, replays of matches played before the October 1st maintenance will no longer be viewable.
Oh, you don't have to buy
Next,
this one.
a new
Okay.
face option, Phaltic Face, will be added. This shares the same mechanical style design as the Fault Face, but with more editable options. In the ornament display settings, you can now toggle the display of eyelashes and eyelids. When eyelashes or eyelids are hidden, the eyes will be able to blink, and you'll also gain full access to various eye-related adjustments. Alongside this update, we're also adding a new sample face, and we'll be holding a Use the Salon to Your Heart's Content campaign, so be sure to try out the new face option. Next, we'd like to introduce various feature improvements and new gameplay elements. First, 3 improvements will be made to the item lab. The first is that under item enhancement, it will no longer be possible to select material items that would exceed the required enhancement experience. This will prevent selecting more material items than necessary. The second is that under augment transfer, a notification will be displayed when an N augment transfer pass is required. This change is intended to prevent N augment transfer passes from being used by accident. The third is that in the material selection screen under Add Augments, augments will be sorted by battle power by default. In addition, practical sorting options such as potency and potency floor increase will be added.
It makes sense that they would do that, because you've had to go to the end of the list for so long at this point.
Next, we have some improvements related to post-quest completion flow. In urgent quests and limited time quests, the quest
that's
results
good.
and claim reward screen will now be displayed at the same time. Furthermore, when the trial and quest completed animations played consecutively, the trial completion animation will be skipped. This will improve the pacing after a quest ends.
Yeah, Betsugen, I've still got like a whole bunch of the launch stuff, which means if they ever go heavy on like status effects, I'll be able to throw a whole bunch of all resist on my stuff.
Here, you'll be able to see details on all your completed tasks and rewards, giving you a grasp of all that you've accomplished in NGS. We'll also be making it easier to deal with items that have expiration dates. A new feature is on the way that will give you an alert when you log in if you have any items nearing expiration or any expired items. You'll start receiving alerts 1 week before the expiration date for any items nearing expiration, and you'll also be able to see these items from the main menu.
I kind of had that for a while when you log
You'll be
in
notified
with
of
a
expired
chat
items
notice.
1 week after the expiration date, as a reminder to use the item recycle. An update will also be arriving soon that will let you use scratch tickets in storage. You'll be able to pull both
Okay,
scratch
but
tickets
can
and
we
reward
pull-
box medals directly from storage. Please note that this feature cannot be
Okay,
used with
but will we
extended
be
storage
able
that is
to
currently
pull,
inactive. Next, we are expanding features to allow you to
will we
open
be
your
able to pull
inventory and
like the
storage inside
slot,
the salon.
like the passes?
Thank you.
I don't know, and
You'll be
I'm
able to use
curious if they're
scratch
also
tickets as well as
updating base
retrieving and putting away
PSO2
items.
to support
That
this
will
as
be a
well.
big help. Please keep in mind that outside of character creation items, this feature will have some restrictions for certain items, including the inability to sell them.
Hey, Radix.
Next up, a command
Good
that will
morning,
let you
Radix.
hide the dimensional rift. When you're in a photo room, you can enter the chat command /background dimension ripper off to remove the dimensional rift.
That sounded like a mouthful. What's the whole command again?
Use this when taking screenshots of Halfa's beautiful backdrops to capture the unblemished scenery. You can bring the dimensional rift back by using the same chat command and just changing off to on.
It'd be nice if they had typed it out there.
Ticket time! The Revival AC Scratch Ticket Rewind Collection October 2025 is dropping soon. This AC Scratch Ticket contains prizes from past Octobers. As a scratch count bonus, in addition to motion changes that were also previously offered as bonuses, you can get the PSO2 Spec Mag Evolution Device Mini Anga. Check it out! The Head Start 10-a-day free SG Scratch has been revamped. In addition to enhancement support items for preset skills, you can get your hands on outfits from past refined Form Series tickets and heaps of other avatar items. Have you used up all your draws for the current free scratch ticket? No worries, we're
So
giving you
Super
another
Bear,
100
I'm just going to say,
draws.
they know what happens
Log in and load
if
up on items.
they don't keep PSO2
A
in
new
good
collab
working
between
order.
NGS
If they
and
let
Max Factory's
PSO2,
plastic
if they
model
shut
series,
down
Guilty
base
Princess is on the
PSO2,
way.
you know what's coming immediately afterwards,
This
right?
collab will feature in-game items based on gorgeous illustrations by Tony Taka, who you may know from his character design work in the Shining video game series.
Oh wait a second, I see your spoiler.
Allow me to briefly introduce the Guilty Princess series. Guilty Princess is
And,
an original
Betsygen,
creation
yeah,
by
you were
Tony Taka
right.
and Max Factory, and the first female character
About it
plastic
being,
models in the Flamax series.
Related to the Shining series. Or rather, the designer.
My question is, are
The
they
girls, called Battle
trying
Maidens, take inspiration
to
from fairy
fit?
tales and myths.
Are they trying to
The cute appearances of each girl, as well as their falls
are they
from virtue,
trying
are key
to
points of
throw?
the
Are they
classic model
trying
series.
to court all these model makers
More
just
details
to
regarding the collab will be announced later.
see if they can get one of them to make the man-in figure or something?
The NGS collab with Tony Taka and Max Factory's Guilty Princess plastic model
I have
series
no
begins
idea.
on October 1st.
I'm getting
In
a
addition
feeling
to
that a lot of them are
collab
getting
scratch
shot
ticket, we'll have limited
shooting
time
Sega
login
down,
bonuses
if that's
during
the
collab
case.
period. Next, I'd like to introduce the AC Scratch Ticket Guilty Princess style. Grab fabulous items including outfits, hairstyles, and weapon camo that will transform your characters into Meow, Alice, Chloe, Guon, and Elfina, as well as emotes which recreate their iconic poses. That's all for the updates coming in the first half of the month. Now let's take a look at this video with details on the updates starting October 8th.
There's the Halloween music. Weird Night, I think it was called. Okay, so this is related to Crimson Realm, it looks like. Hey, I was just talking about Lysis, and, well, here come the quintuplets again. Although that's not, this isn't story related, I would have to believe at this point.
There might be story to it. Because I saw character dialogue.
Huh. This looks like it's a revamp of an old quest from about a year or two ago. Where we had to, like, fight off, like, 5 different waves of enemies. Okay, so the skill ring comes
finally.
later. Looks like it might be kind of limited at the start, but I guess we'll have to see if there's any opportunities for crafting or something like that.
I guess my frustration with the skill rings is, had they brought skill rings as a method of attaching environmental resistances, and I think the whole environmental hazards would have been far more accepted. Because you could swap them in and out instead of having to basically nuke one of your affixes on your armor.
Yep, agreed. And at the same time, I mean, it's this kind of, to your point, yeah, it kind of feels like desperation at this point, because, what, we had skill rings back in PSO2, and, you know, it's only several years later now that they're finally bringing them out in New Genesis. It's like, I have to believe this was not planned, that they never wanted to do it, but now they're just having to do it just so that they can bring familiar things out to the players that remain. Like the only difference with these EXs is a different color.
No, it had particle effects. It's just not very easy to see on the stream.
Okay.
Sweets Panic? Wait a second. Are they actually going to possibly bring back the Cake Girls?
That'd be an interesting one, considering we have never seen a shop for them anywhere on New Genesis or on Alpha. Miss Candy, no, it's not the Cake Sisters.
Okay, that's such a mess. That's such a fail.
It's a complete miss. Yeah. They're not even paying attention to their history at this point. Okay, that's actually a pretty cool cast set there.
That would work for you, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. I might drop the helmet though, or the head though, and go with a different one. And then maybe keep the tail I currently got. I mean, they can work, but from my perspective, I'm sort of the person that likes function over fashion, so for me, I'm sort of like, I don't want to be seeing any of the horn in my vision or anything like that. In that case, it's just a bit too big on it. They don't, given that casts are just people that have issues with their bodies holding their photon potential. Or at least that's how it was in PSO2. Who knows what it's like now?
How was it? Let me go through the details with these slides. The seasonal event Halloween 2025 rises from the grave on October 8th. Central City will be costumed in spooktacular decorations, and we picked a new region mag look straight from the pumpkin patch. Reaper Rappy, Trick or Treat Emperor Rappy, and Trick or Treat Great Rappy will haunt Halfa. Get your treats before they can trick you. Our navigator for the seasonal event will be Shiemi, exercising fashion demons in her ceremonial threads. She is investigating enemy movement in Halfa, so see what she has to say. The seasonal points exchange shop features the Osaria bathtub and Luna Rabbit's build parts, plus the accessory Bujin's katana modeled after its weapon. In the special scratch, you will be able to try your hand at the Halloween 2025 SP scratch ticket and grab some powerful augment capsules and tech arts customization items. We're a full-size candy bar house here at NGS. Limited time tasks and title tasks will be added for this seasonal event. Complete these tasks to earn TA Customization Disc X Omni, Arms Refiner 2, Halloween 2025 SP Scratch tickets, and more. Be on the lookout for a new limited.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely put some time into getting the EX styles and rings together, but I don't know about.
As you investigate the Crimson Realm.
I don't know what we'll really be seeing out of those quests here, aside from what they showed. We've already declared the Halloween one to be a fail just because they're not bringing up the Cake Sisters. And I called out the that one quest that looks like a rehash of something we saw several years ago in Kavaris.
Agni excels at hand-to-hand combat.
Personally, we should be calling them out on X over the whole missing on the Neura Cake
Sisters. Out from
Sisters.
Agni's body, and they unleash a flurry of powerful attacks.
I'm about to post something in their official Discord about it, but
The
yeah.
High Grudgeborn are a stronger version of Grudgeborn with more varied attack patterns. New enemies means a new title task. Complete the task and claim your title. For all you limited time quest fans out there, the limited time quest Drill Old Capital Extermination Op is dropping soon. This 12-player co-op quest is a remix of Drill Old Capital Cleanup Op with new enemies and enemy levels. Make use of the enormous icicles on the field as you try to protect the transport trucks from enemies pressing in on 3 sides. Naturally, we'll be adding limited time tasks along with this limited time quest. Complete these tasks to get Halloween 2025 SP Scratch tickets and more. We also have a new equipment item for you, skill rings. There are 2 different types of skill rings, with each type equipable in a different slot. Type 1 rings primarily have a firepower enhancing effect, while Type 2 rings have effects that improve defense and efficiency. These effects can be enhanced by using the same skill rings as materials. We'll be releasing a total of 5 types of skill rings this time, including one with an effect that increases potency every time you defeat a non-boss enemy, one with an effect that you receive every time you dodge or neutralize an enemy attack, and one with an effect that scales with your HP.
So with that Type 2 over HP follow, you better not have the damage bouncer, or the one that brings your health to halfway, or else you're just gonna mess yourself up with that.
Limited time tasks will be added to coincide with the release of the skill rings. Complete these tasks to earn special scratch tickets. We'll also be giving away a skill ring just for logging in, as a special
And
skill ring
then
celebration.
they recover
you can log in
1% of
between
HP
October
every
8th
20
and November 5th to get the
seconds?
skill ring
That
Type
just
2
looks
Simple Guard.
like completely pointless on there.
This ring has an effect that reduces damage taken, so be sure to log in and grab one.
Yeah, we don't have
Creative Space will put a song in your heart with some new music-themed build parts, including the
We can
grand
certainly
piano,
break,
rhythm guitar, and kuna sticks.
you know, materials to get those, but we don't have the fishing
Time to
system.
tune up your creative and alliance spaces. Next up on our update list is the new AC scratch ticket, Monster Masquerade 2025. Pull up to your next Halloween party in these spine-chilling mummy, clown, and unholy nun costumes. As part of the scratch count bonus, alternate versions of motion change items included in the scratch ticket prizes, specifically the Sweet Devil EX dash and idle motions, will be available. Be sure to check those out as well. There are so many things I want to comment on, but for now, the third one from the left is super cute. NGS Season 49 of the Mission Pass will be available starting October 14th. Get stamps and accessories as well as a ton of valuable items.
Fluffy
carried
dino
over from the
boots look
previous
similar
lineup,
to the
including
to the dragon ones they
Create,
released
and
back in
SP scratch ticket
PSO2.
prize slips. This time, the pass
Or at least
also
I
boasts
think
the
they're using the
armored
same
accessories
base
Salazar
model.
Dim from PSO2, the new accessories Rappy Knitted Doll, and Fluffy Dino Boots. And an alternate color version of the motion change, Dash Charged. Don't miss out! Next, we have two new Revival AC scratch tickets. First, I'd like to introduce the Revival AC scratch ticket, Mechanical Revival. This is a Revival scratch ticket featuring a collection of previously released mechanical-themed outfits, accessories, and cast parts. Combine this with the Fall Tech face releasing on October 1st and go wild in character creation.
Betchigen, the Cake Sisters were also in Phantasy Star Universe. In the Maximum Attack G quest, as well as in PSO2 as well.
Adventuring ARKS Defender. Enhance your weapons and armor and aim for even greater heights. The Revival AC scratch ticket, PSO2 Memories, October 2025.
And in PSO2, they were a random trial that could pop up.
On October 21st. In this Revival AC scratch ticket, avatar items released in PSO2 make their return. Get a prize slip every 15 draws through the scratch count bonus, plus a chance to get the emote Lean on Hands. PSO2 Memories will continue to arrive on the PSO2 day on the 21st of each month. The lineup will change each time, so keep your eyes peeled. The new limited time quest, Sweets Panic, drops on October 22nd. This quest supports up to 8 players and is set in Halfana Plains, which is decked out in bewitching Halloween decor. Defeat enemies to receive sweets. Exchange your sweets for gifts in the final area and aim for the finish. A new character, Miss Candy, will guide you through the mission. The final area includes a beautiful moonlit stretch of the Halfana Plains. Snap some spooky screenshots and make the most of this gorgeous Halloween night. There will be limited time tasks added to go with this limited time quest. Complete these tasks to earn rewards such as Halloween 2025 SP scratch tickets. New additions are also coming to the seasonal points exchange shop lineup, so don't forget to check it out. 4 new skill rings will also be releasing on October 22nd. 2 of these new skill rings grant effects according to your PP level. The other 2 grant effects when you're receiving damage. These will drop from limited time quests and other sources, so find the combination that best fits your playstyle.
This might finally get me off of the Hunt Your Force combo I've been on for a long time.
Nightmare Carnival. Get cool hoodie and sexy miniskirt outfits as well as demon-themed cast parts. The Scratch Count bonus contains alternate versions of the Villain Glide and idle motion change items included in the Scratch ticket prizes. That concludes the update information for today. Moving on to the next segment. NGS Operation Report. In this segment, the NGS Operation Report, I will share answers from the development and live ops teams in response to players' questions and comments. I'd like to start by reading the letter from the developers. Allow me to read it to you. We would like to thank all the ARKs out there for continuing to play NGS. Here, we will provide information on the intended implementation of updates introduced in this program in the form of a letter from the developers. Let's start with a new player action system, EX Styles. ARKs can pick one of multiple EX styles. This system exists as a third step beyond main class and subclass, functioning like a third class. We decided to create this system in response to feedback we received after the release of Mars last year. While some thought the radically different controls brought a fresh experience, many also expressed a desire to perform powerful actions while retaining the use of their current weapons. This is why EX Styles do not completely change your controls the way Mars does, but rather uses the controls of your current weapons and class as a base and imbues them with additional power.
Now, does this mean that Mars is just going to become irrelevant? Or are they going to keep up the power with that?
With EX Styles, you can fire off a powerful afterblast attack after
Well,
using
Mars
your
is
photon
supposed to
blast for a
scale off
satisfying
the player
finishing
character
blow.
now. So, theoretically, it should never
player also
get to a
receives
point
buff
where
afterwards,
it's
allowing you to go
outpaced by
wild
the
on
player
battlefield while
character.
your
I
photon blast is on
hope.
cooldown.
I'm going to say, I hope.
We'll see.
Another important part of EX Styles is trigger attacks, which are follow-up attacks which activate at set intervals.
Yeah, Radix, I still have that set up in my creative space,
You can
if
shorten
you ever
this
want to
interval,
rerun that.
thereby increasing your overall firepower.
The Nulla Cave.
This is why multiple EX Styles exist. Mix and match them according to your preferred class and playstyle. The address style grants bonuses for successfully preventing attacks, and has skills which support durability and counterattacks. The blitz style grants bonuses according to number of hits, and has skills which support combo attacks and using many actions. The Celeste style grants bonuses according to down factor accumulation, and has skills which support charge and gauge type skills.
Hey, I put a number of hours
This lineup of
together
three
to
styles,
put that
it is
together.
guaranteed to be a style which pairs well with each class and
I had to
weapon,
figure out how to make the
whether
chest
close range,
respawn and things
long
like
range,
that.
or technique focused. The names start with A, B, and C, so they can be referred to as Style
And in
A,
all honesty, it's the
Style B,
only
and Style
ca-
C for short.
cake shop we have in PSO2 right, NGS right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Additionally,
Unless somebody else
these
did like
styles do
a
not
creative
require
space
unique
around
items for
cake
leveling them.
themes, but I haven't
EXP
seen
is
it.
accumulated for them in the same way as subclasses.
And Betsugen, the bosses that remain are going to be like the end of episode bosses, like say,
try out multiple styles.
like the Persona and Mother and
Give EX Styles a spin and
what's
find
its
which one
name from
works
the
best for you.
Yggdrasil tree, and then of course Shiva
Next is the new skill
and
ring.
and Primordial Darkness.
Skill rings are a new category of equipment in the same vein as weapons and armor, which you can look forward to appearing in your drops. Increase your damage output with rings that support your normal playstyle, or maximize your firepower for the situations where big damage is needed.
Oh yeah, and then
Not
there's
feel like
also
a waste
double
to
and
obtain multiple rings, we've implemented an
Profound
upgrade
Darkness
system.
as well. They're super batter.
However, even non-fully upgraded rings still boast plenty
Well,
of
there
benefits.
is also, we still haven't had any of the
The
barter
first ring you
enemies
get,
show up.
either upgrade it or use it while you search for the one you want.
You know, Big Varder and Varder Soma.
Lastly, I will
Oh yeah,
discuss
that's true.
balance
The one
adjustments
on Lilliput.
Many
Big
cards have been
Varder
released since
would
the launch of
be
Lightstrike.
actually
With this
be
balance
awesome to
update, we
show.
would like to
Well,
focus on the
actually,
attack
with
power of
our
the
mobility
class and
options,
low
it wouldn't be anywhere near as cool as it was in base.
Yeah. Also, we haven't seen Magatsu
We
either.
initially considered
And
including Nerfs in these balance
Phallic
changes.
Ives, but that would open a
Nerfing
whole
cards are
can of worms.
essential to the meta,
I'm sure they
since
don't want to do
harming
for the
overall
story.
game balance and undermining each card's unique characteristics. We
Personally,
have concluded that no card is currently powerful enough to warrant nerfs, and thus this balance adjustment will exclusively feature buffs.
stupid loud semi-trucks. Okay, honestly,
We
the
will do
story
our
could
utmost to
handle,
proceed forward with
could
this
stand
policy
a
of
few
only enacting buffs.
can of worms being opened.
We will consider nerfs only if they become
I guess that's
necessary,
true,
and will
yeah.
be sure to communicate the content.
I made the point of when I put that thing out earlier this year with how I changed the story. I brought Phallic Ives
That's
into
all
it,
for the
so
letter from the developers. Thank you for continuing to play NGS. That was the letter from the developers. Continuing on to the next section, I have answers to players' questions and comments from the development and live operations teams. Here's the first one. Some emotes can show my currently equipped weapon. Would it be possible to also have my equipped weapon applied to idols as well? Here is the response. We are working on a new idol that will reflect equipped weapons. Be on the lookout for more information. That was their answer. Let's move on to the next question. I would like to use a chat command in auto chat that plays character voices. Could you
We
make
already
that happen?
have that.
Here is their response.
yeah. What are they talking about?
Enter the desired voice number after /VO to play that voice using a chat command. Some commands play a random voice line, and we explored the possibility of letting you choose specific ones. Unfortunately, the way the sound data is set up makes this difficult to implement, so this feature won't be available for now. Please try setting up your auto chat to include this voice playback chat command.
Okay, so then they're just going over how the
was their
feature
answer.
works then.
By the way, I heard there's a certain voice that if you enter /VO12 will announce that Christmas is cancelled. I wonder which reindeer said that. Haha. Let's move on to the next question. Do you have any plans to apply the block list to the lookbook? Here is their response. We're looking into it. Be on the lookout for more information. That was their answer. That's all for our Q&A today. Moving forward, we will continue to bring your questions and feedback to the development and operations teams and share their answers with you. Please share your thoughts and opinions about this program and the game on X and other social media using the same hashtag as the previous headline series, #NGS Headline. Moving on to the next segment. NGS Satellite Information. Now, let's move on from updates and talk about some other NGS-related info. I'm sure it will get you even more hyped to play the game. Let's start with this. This time we have a campaign to help you upgrade your equipment. The Treasure Shop sale will feature the Juvogue series and Prograde armor with preset skills, as well as a variety of upgrade materials at great prices. In addition, powerful boosts such as the enhancement success rate plus 90% will be implemented for some upgraded equipment.
Yeah, they do these kind of boosts every now and then.
Treasure Scratch Volume 11 kicks off on October 15th. Grab useful items such as N Augment Item Protection and Augment Capsules. What's more, the Scratch Count bonus will feature a Puffy Penguin accessory. Complete daily tasks and the pale flame of the planet wrecker urging quests to earn treasure scratch tickets.
Well, the number isn't quite that high, but yeah, it's constantly catch-up stuff. Like every other month.
The web-exclusive storefront, PSO2NGS Web Store, expanded its available regions. It is now available in Canada, European regions, and other countries. We hope you will take advantage of this opportunity. Please be aware that AC purchased from the PSO2NGS Web Store cannot be used on the PS4 version. The PSO2NGS Web Store can be accessed from the official PSO2NGS website. Hover over Buy AC on the official website or game launcher, then select Web Store. Please note that the web store cannot be accessed from in-game. That's all for the satellite information. Next, we have our regular mini-segment where we highlight something NGS-related, such as concept art, in-game songs, and aggregated data, and delve into it with commentary from the development team. Today, we're introducing the background music from the new quest, Alter Realm Exploration, which was added in the July update. Here's a message from the composer, Fukuyama-san. Early in development, the director and the sound team talked about how to best capture Alter Realm's desolate atmosphere and unique visuals in the music. Of the different approaches we explored, for this track we used techniques like glitches, noise,
yeah, LC augments will get you most of the way for whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Personally, I've been working on a lot of bright, energetic tracks lately, like the one for Nameless City, so tackling this piece felt like a refreshing change of pace. And I'm sure you've noticed, this track is peppered with little phrases from the Retem region's music here and there. As I composed, I found myself reminiscing about the sweeping vistas of the Retem region in episode 1, and days we spent bringing them to life. The piano phrase from Alnos, in particular, carries a deep sense of nostalgia for me, so I wove it prominently into the track. Why the Retem motif? The reason will be revealed in the upcoming story updates, so stay tuned.
Huh.
What did you think?
So more than just the fact that that's where it was.
Songs in the coming episodes, so please look forward to it. That's all for this episode of NGS Headline Wave. This broadcast strives to make NGS even better by collecting audience input. Please share your thoughts and feedback on this program and the game by using the same hashtag as previous broadcasts. Hashtag NGS Headline on X. Together we can make NGS an even more fantastic game. I'm definitely excited for the combat updates, but the Halloween scratch ticket is always right up my alley. I'm planning to go all in this time and enjoy it together with the seasonal event. The next NGS Headline Wave will return to its Tuesday night broadcast and is scheduled to air on Tuesday, October 28th.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to be waiting a while for the next headline.
We'll focus on updates coming in November. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
So we're back to Tuesdays, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Well then, ARKS, I'll see you in the next NGS Headline Wave. Bye-bye.
Yeah, they're probably doing this one today just because of the I guess the live show they're doing immediately after here. So at least on the Japanese side, we don't have access to that, or I mean we could tune in, but I mean based on the description I got, it didn't seem like it was actually going to be worth it for us to tune in on that. I'm just checking if there's anything else from the Japanese side that we need to be aware of here, but so far I'm not seeing that much. I see a thing about Rapikamu, which is the Japanese community on X, and then looks like they've got something about maybe an event happening, something between October 17th and November 3rd, and then there's also something at the Akiba something zone, Coal Pop, between December 5th and December 21st. And then okay, I can bring this on real quick here. So they apparently were also doing some merch here as well. I guess for this event. So looks like some of the figures from PSO that they're pushing here, including a Dark Falls or Dolls Falls figure there. In the upper right, and then I don't think I've ever seen a Red Ring Rico bag like that before. So
this is kind of worrying me because this is also sounding like they're starting to have difficulty. Well, actually, it kind of confirms that they're having difficulty selling any version of the NGS stuff without supporting it with past nostalgia.
Gotcha. And yeah, Betsygen, you're right on that.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the things where I keep on harping. Those acrylic stands are basically because they cannot get anyone to actually to create a 3D figure of a character, like they did with Jean and Matoy. Requires commissioning an artist to build to craft out the 3D model, and then you run into further problems in that can get expensive. Then they have to sculpt it out, and then they have to do, especially with model kits, they then have to figure out how they're going to break down that 3D figure into something that can be assembled from plastic pieces on a frame. And if they just do a simple statue, it's also a case of having to detail the paint and such. It's a clear sign how much Phantasy Star has fallen from grace with how things are right now, with how they cannot convince any of these manufacturers to produce a figure of the main heroines from New Genesis.
Yep, I totally agree with you. It's a sad state of things right now, and it's they're gonna have to do something major to fix it. And frankly, at this point, who knows if they're actually going to put the effort in to try to fix it or not. We know there's more story coming on along the way, but at this point, I mean, and we've been saying this for a while, it's probably too little, too late at this point here.
You know, NGS is completely salvageable, but would require more effort than I think Sega is currently willing to put in.
Yeah.
It's like whoever is running this has no imagination and no will at this point. It feels like. Well, I mean, like the whole idea of if you look at how this goes back to what I was going to say earlier in the show. If you go back to how Nameless City is set up, that one area in the city is clearly designed to be a new hub, but they didn't go about doing it. And it's also a case of how people keep on mentioning Alpha is basically in this permanent state of stasis, really. It's like it's in a state of stasis where Sega does not dare make much in a way of changes to the layout.
Yep. And Radix, yeah. If there was some sort of a roguelike mode, maybe it would help the game. But it's also funny you mentioned that, because we got something coming up in just a moment here that actually will have something like that. But was there anything else you wanted to say before we moved on here, Brooks?
Well, I was going to explain how NGS could actually create altered environments for their game without disrupting the new player experience too much.
Sure, go ahead.
So there is one thing that people found out early, is that every area has different ranks to them. I'm trying to remember. The gathering areas are set up that they can actually be entered at different ranks, kind of like the combat sectors. If Sega wanted to, they could set up a system where they could go, like Central City could be set up where you could go in at different points in the story, and that way you could have actually have a damaged Central City, or you could have an open field where the dolls are now attacking the Starless, because they're now on a different system. They're now on a different rank, separate from the beginning areas. The reason I think they aren't doing that is, one, basically because they are still attached to certain theories and concepts. Like, they want players to play together. That's been one of the biggest mistakes of NGS, is that they are absolutely dead determined to make it so that players have to play together. They can't accept that. Even in base, players most often play by themselves and treated base like it was a single player game for most of the time. It only went into multiplayer for the urgent quests. And it's just one of those things where, because of their philosophies in designing NGS, I think that's holding them back. They need to change the philosophy so that they can accept that players are going to play solo most of the time, and then create a situation where we can have different ranks, and even make it so that older players and new players don't always have to play together. Let the newer players have the new player experience where they're going through the story, and let the older players have visible story progression in the world.
Yep. And Bessajin, to your point, yeah, that is still an issue at this point, where Starlets are roaming around in the open field, and even the dread enemies. I mean, new players can easily be wrecked by those enemies, just because those open fields were originally housing max level 20 enemies, and now they're way higher. So they can't even have a chance of surviving, unless they actually do what they need to do for dodging. But what's a new player going to know about that at the start?
Okay, let's move on, unless there's anything else.
The only thing that we have in terms of New Genesis, aside from what just got covered, the prize list for the daily free SG ticket does not include the Roundy Rat Ears /B, and they're working to correct this, and appropriate compensation for the issue will be is currently in discussion. So, not
give
much
people the Roundy Rat Ears. Just give them the ticket for it.
Maybe, yeah. All right, so. With that, we've got a trailer, actually, that we're going to take a look at here. So let's take a look at what's up for Sonic Roboblast 2 Infinity version 2.1. Yeah, yeah, PSE bursts are definitely back. That's for certain. Yeah, it really has that. It's really feeling like it's sort of like a merger of, like, at this point, maybe Phantasy Star Online 2 as well as Phantasy Star Portable 2 Infinity. Betchigen, not quite sure about the drop rates, but it's yeah, it's I don't know when I'm gonna get back to that. I did what was it, about a year or two ago? I did a Let's Play of the first 4 areas. At some point, I do want to get back and give this a try. But there's also other stuff I also want to get to as well. It's like, I don't have enough time, and plus I'm currently going through that whole Xenoblade thing, so probably after I finish the first Xenoblade as well as the extra story, we'll probably be going back to more Phantasy Star content for a bit here on this channel. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice that they're dropping the items on the ground there. Yeah, I totally agree on that one. It's just a little too automatic with New Genesis as it is right now. But aside from that, we did get some, and we covered a little bit of this previously for this update, but we do have a little bit more on that front here. So this is based on release candidate 2, and effectively once you get a release candidate that works, you don't typically make many changes. So the inventory size was increased from 60 to 100. This change is in response to the growing amount of material/exchange items which can clog the inventory. They added new inventory icons for the new units and material items, courtesy once again of Chiri. In free fields, trials can no longer occur if the PSE level is 4 or above, and will no longer trigger PSE bursts. In the event that completing a trial would cause a PSE burst, it will instead reset the PSE chance timer to a minute 20. They fixed a bug where Rappies didn't like death pits. And they fixed a bug where Rabbit Wand bugged out when casting Raw Megid, and did not affect Ilmegid. Fixed a bug where trading an item while the inventory was full caused it to disappear. It is now sent to storage or dropped on the floor. Fixed a bug where Chaos/Cure Ribbon could cause statuses to last forever. That's not good. They fixed the Chaos/SH Destruction stat distribution. Fixed a bug where Witch's Broom errored out when inflicting statuses upon certain enemies. Fixed a bug where the exchange list was sometimes not reset properly outside of challenge quests. They rewrote the photonic sap potential to hopefully be more stable, and fixed an oversight that caused free field to be displayed before unlocking it, but not be accessible, and challenge quests to be accessible through the same medium. And that the challenge quest is basically that roguelike that I had mentioned earlier. So yeah, it's nice to see that this is now continuing to get support. That it's got a very hard mode, and it's something that I'm looking forward to hopping back into again at some point here. I know I'm gonna have. I know with version 2, when that first released, they kind of reset everything, so I'm gonna have to go back through the initial stages again and level up again. But oh well. And of course, you know, you can always download this off of the Sonic Roboblast 2 message board. Just look for the Sonic Roboblast 2 Infinity version 2 thread. Alright, moving on to Clementine. So, we received word about something called Astrum. So, Astrum is a Vanilla Plus server. It's designed to stay true to Sega's original vision while carefully building on the foundation that was left to the players. The goal is to simply preserve PSU's identity to the best of their ability and polish it. Yeah, no, it's definitely definitely a lot of I'm sorry, chat. Apparently you got cut off here a little bit. I'm trying to fix you right now. Let me do this. Okay. And there we go. That should fix it. But yeah, it's Sonic Roboblast 2 has been around for a long time, and it was really exciting when the Sonic Roboblast 2 Infinity mod first came out. That kind of made its way around the community very quickly, but you kind of needed to be in the right places to even see that it was happening.
From what I understand, well, from what I've been reading, sounds like the creator is thinking of creating a standalone Phantasy Star like game, Phantasy Star Online like game, because they're saying they can't really go about creating a version of this with humanoid characters, but they can't with human characters, but they are thinking about it in the future as they're using this mod as a learning experience for crafting the game.
Well, definitely good luck to them on that. I mean, if they're able to build a new game from scratch, and it would really go to show just how far Sega truly has fallen if a fan is able to create just a fresh game from scratch like that. So I'll definitely be looking forward to it when it happens.
This is, I mean, on the Sonic fan game front, many Sonic fans have basically been outright embarrassing Sega for a while now. And it was quite a slap in the face when basically Sonic Mania outperformed to an extreme degree, outperformed Sonic Frontier, well, not Frontiers, Sonic Forces. So it's kind of a huge Super Red, I'm just going to say this. You may think they are, but they're not Nintendo. Right now, Sega has... If there's one difference between Sega and Nintendo, is Sega has taken enough shots to the groin to learn their place. They have had their attitude adjusted because they know they are nothing without the fans. Repeatedly, they understand they are nothing without the fans. Nintendo is already going to start paying for it soon. Every time they've gotten arrogant, they've paid for it eventually. It happened with the Wii. And they paid for it with the Wii U. May not be this generation, but it will be the next, at the very least.
Yeah, Nintendo has been on sort of a TikTok pattern for some time now, whereby, what was it, N64 did okay, GameCube not so well, then they had the Wii, then Wii U. Yeah, they're actually lined up for Switch 2 to be the next bad generation, except they've had a great initial sales, so it might appear later in the generation, or to your point, it could happen next generation.
But yeah, Sega has been punished enough that they're much less arrogant than Nintendo. That's probably why Sonic Cross Worlds Racing is doing so well. They had enough they have enough failures that they're humble when they get successes. And as I said with Sonic Mania, it embarrassed them enough that they worked hard and then later came out with Sonic Frontiers, which was one of their best performing Sonic games in years. NGS is only being held up by the whales right now. And they know that. And they know they're only getting a fraction of what they could have had right now. It's just with NGS, they don't want to... I think they're still trying to recoup what they put into it. And that's why it's still being allowed to just drag on. Also, there's not much else coming out of Sega Sapporo.
Yeah, that's where they were working on the Super game, and, well, we really haven't heard much of that in a bit here, so... but let me continue here. So, Vanilla Core, important systems, including equipment, damage formulas, status effects grinding, photon arts, etc., remain true to the original, staying as close to the official sources as they can. Enhancements and fixes, they're aiming to complete the server implementation and add modern, thoughtful improvements without compromising the core of the game and without changing how you have to play it. Faithful and steady, stricter rules about custom content and changes. There will never be surprise tweaks, power creeps, or stat bumps. Additional missions, weapons, and content will always be in-universe, Phantasy Star Universe, Phantasy Star Portable, etc., and will respect the existing content. And then, slow burning experience, there is no rushing to endgame or easy 50%. There will be a sandbox mode so you can experiment, time attack, etc., without rubbing up against the natural game experience or tripping people over. And Astrum is still in development, and we'll have a test phase when it's ready for one. For now, if it's something that you think you might enjoy and would want to be a part of, you're very much welcome to join the Clementine Discord. That's pretty much all that's happened on the Clementine side of things here. Moving on to Affinia now. They reached the end of their anniversary event, so there's not too much to really report on here, except that they did fix a bug in the server. If a character's total experience went over the signed 32-bit limit, for now the server will limit the total experience to this value to avoid any issues. So I'm curious if anybody actually really did hit that number there on the server, or because that seems kind of unusual for anybody to hit it that high, even if they've been playing on Affinia since the start. But I guess it might be possible. Okay, moving on next. There's been another revision to the Phantasy Star Generation 1 translation, although this is just a short update here. Version 3.02 fixes a display error with the Shion NPC Wiz's dialogue after slaying Medusa. And of course, if you're interested in playing this translation, you can head over to PS Cave and download it from there. Oh, and Betsujin, your comment from before. I've made mention a few times that I've been thinking about what I would do if PSO2 were to continue. I can say now that I at least have the basic outline of a 4-episode arc for PSO2, including a finale, sort of an EX chapter at the end of episode 10. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna fully flesh it out, but at least I've got a basic idea of what I would do if I was ever given the opportunity. Alright, and then lastly today, we've got Tabletop. Specifically, on the website for the Tabletop game, you can now get the main sheets as well as a starship sheet for your characters. And I've got that pulled up here, whereby we're going to take a quick look at this here. So, Rooks, as I mentioned before, I'm going to be kind of leaning on you here, given your experience. Granted, I understand you're more into GURPS. This is a D20 system.
Okay, so where do we start? Okay, we have character name, species, background, profession, path. Species, character name, and background, profession should all be common. Species, well, there were a set number of species for Phantasy Star series. You might be able to. The fact that you can write in just about anything there makes me wonder if they do have room to make your own species. And level and experience should also be pretty much self-explanatory. So abilities: strength, dex, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. Strength, dexterity should be sorry, something's going.
Yeah, those are pretty common for what you get out of a D20 system. Strength is going to be more for like your melee fighters. Dex would be for any ranged characters you got. Intelligence, I believe, is going to be for your casters, damaging casters, and then wisdom would be more for if you're playing a healer, if I remember correctly. And then charisma is more or less for bard-like characters or characters that whereby it's like you need somebody to put on a good face effectively. And then constitution, I think, is more or less directly related to your health, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it has to do with your basically your physical integrity. High constitution basically means that you can shrug off poisons and various other things easier. And the thing is, actually, in D20, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma have all been used for casters as well.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned. I did bring up Bard as well. I think that's how they do their casting. And then maybe also Paladin.
I don't think Paladin does charisma.
Okay. I just remember there being like a high stat need for it, though. Or maybe that was like back in AD&D or something. I don't know.
Now, fate points, I am not sure at all what fate points are, unfortunately. The D, having that D by there means that it's likely it's related to your, you have to roll for them. If my guess is correct, you might have to roll the fate point roll at the beginning of each session and see how many of these, and I suspect fate points allow you to sometimes overrule a bad roll and such.
Yeah, I remember it being like that you could like avoid damage or something like that by using one of your fate points.
Now, skills should be mostly self-explanatory. With certain skills you see here, they are connected to. It's actually difficult for me to explain. This is as I'm not quite sure how skills and abilities are connected, but this will add an additional modifier to your rolls, to your roll total. And features, I suspect, are related to pre-built classes. Yeah,
that would make sense to me as well here. But basically, effectively, skills would sort of be like the actions you want to take. So, like, say you want to climb up to a high ledge or something like that, then you might have to do like an acrobatics check or something.
Yes. Going down here, agility and speed likely. Honestly, I'm not quite sure how those are calculated or 100% where they are used, except I suspect speed is related to how quickly your character can move around the field.
Yeah, I'll agree on that one. Yeah.
So defense, I suspect, is what this game's version of armor class, and basically that's what an enemy has to roll over in order to be able to deal damage to your character. In a lot of RPGs, there is not like, where in most game RPGs, defense actually shaves off damage you take, and in D20 systems, often armor class acts as a way to it's basically the threshold an enemy or a person has to roll over in order to hit another. And I suspect that's what it's called, why it's changed over here from armor class to defense.
Yep. So just looking there, armor bonus would be probably what you're wearing. Shield would be if you're sort of playing a tank character. Technique modifier would probably be if somebody was to cast D-band or something like that.
Yep. And honestly, they simplify defenses like this in tabletops just so that there's not a whole lot of math going on every time. Like, if you look at how defense is calculated versus GURPS and such, like in GURPS you have the dodge ability, you have active defenses, which it gives you the ability to avoid an attack, but they almost never have like with GURPS they have damage resistance, which is just a hard cut off. Okay, why the heck is it so busy outside my window today? Damage resistance is a hard cut off of damage your character takes. And I'm going to, so in a lot of tabletops, they try to make the defense option, the defenses very quick to get done because of how long battles can take. Now, hit points, it should be self-explanatory. You have temp HP, meaning that there will be moments where you will actually be able to go over your max hit points. And death saves have to do with when your character reaches a certain point, you will have turns to try to avoid your character dying from having your HP too low. Typically when you go go into negatives. And like you get three attempts before your character dies.
Yep. I think unless somebody gets crit, at which point I think it's a 2 death save automatically, or death points.
I'm not 100% sure on that one, but that's probably accurate. Right. Remaining touch points.
Sorry to interrupt again. Betsujin, you're making fun there about 2 shields and spamming magic items, but that's actually a legitimate strategy in Phantasy Star at the end of the millennium. So I'm curious if they do actually account for that here.
Well, with the attacks down here, that might actually be a thing. The weapon technique notes, and they give you several slots here. Now, hit dice, you might think that actually has something to do with actually hitting the enemy. No, this is how you actually calculate how much your hit points increase between levels. So level times die type times constitution plus constitution score Oh,
Yep,
wait a
and
second.
then
No, it says half max HD after long rest, which I'm not. Okay, maybe this might be healing or something. It might have multiple uses.
yeah, I think if from what I recall, at least watching like Critical Role and a couple of other things, it's like basically your hit dice is what you use to regenerate HP during like short rests, and then the number used is just how many you have available or something like that. But again, I'm no expert in it.
So proficiencies, armor, medium, and heavy. It's basically just what kind of equipment you can use, and tools and vehicles. What kind of vehicles you can drive, what kind of tools you can use.
Yep. And then we start moving down to the second page of this thing. So, yeah. So it looks like you have the potential to learn a whole bunch of techniques here. Concentration, if I remember correctly, is like if you need to continue to do... you need to continue focusing on something for the spell to continue persisting, if I remember correctly.
In GURPS, it kind of is that way. Concentration might also be how long, how much. It might also have to do with. Jeez, what? What the heck is going on out there? Okay, concentration is likely. If you're interrupted, it is basically if you're interrupted, it could prevent you from casting the spell. Like you might have to concentrate multiple turns to cast a technique. Components, I am not quite sure how. I mean, it basically means you have to have something, but I'm not quite sure what the difference is between P and S are.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual. Components have never really been a part of casting techniques in Phantasy Star, so I'm curious why that was even added here, to be honest.
Well, it might be like. Well, remember they also have they do acknowledge that there's a difference between techniques and magic. The creators have, but they are kind of also grouping magic under techniques as well.
That's true. And maybe cast traps or something could fall under there as well.
As for appearance, one of the traits. Okay. So one of the traits of appearance and one of the things that's different about D20 versus okay, so charisma often is treated as the beauty stat, but more modernly it's treated as your people stat, your ability to work with people and such. So basically you could actually have a character that looks very nice but has terrible people skills and rubs people the wrong way all the time. So you could actually have in a way you can write your character's very beautiful here, such and such, but because they have low charisma, they don't really work well with. Don't have as good of an ability to work with people. History and goals is basically flavor for your character, and also it's one of the problems often in tabletop is people will create a character and not really have personal goals for their character, so they very quickly lose interest in what's going on. And story bonds is like I would suspect is aspects of the story that your character cares about and things that motivates them. And languages should be self-explanatory. Meseta life. Now we go down here to meseta and lifestyle expenses. Lifestyle expenses is probably something that's going to catch a lot of CRPG players off guard, because it basically means how your character like the expenses that your character goes through on a weekly or monthly basis, like rent or like, how do I think about this? Like, there's a different lifestyle between someone who's a different lifestyle costs between a college student a fresh out of college student versus a CEO. Like, a CEO might have higher lifestyle expenses simply because of what they're willing to pay for and such. So that would be like a thing that would be deducted from your meseta, like weekly or monthly, depending on how they have that going. Vehicles and position and role is like, well, we had the desert crawler and another vehicle that could drill through ice and such, boats.
The Land Rover and the Ice Digger, yeah.
And we also have, and also the spaceship as well. So it would say what's the role and where are they located and such. And equipment should be, the equipment should just be, well, grade probably has to do with how high quality it is. Number is how many, like if it's monomates or perimates, that's how it would be, how many of those you have. Weight would be how heavy they are per unit and such.
Yep, and your character probably has a weight limit for how much they can carry at a time.
Yeah, like for instance, if I recall, Nay really didn't like carrying heavy weights.
Yeah, that seems fairly standard here. It's once we start getting down to the starship statistics, I don't know how much different this is from like regular boat stats in D&D, but I mean this looks fairly complicated here.
Yeah, this is like they have places for your like pilot, co-pilot. They have dexterity and wisdom. Technician, they have intelligence and wisdom. Basically, this is a way of keeping track of how well your ship is doing. Now, in Phantasy Star, if I recall, it's very rare for you to actually get into combat on starships, right? With the star, I mean, in Phantasy Star 4, they had combat with a Land Rover, but
yep.
I don't think they ever had ship-to-ship combat in Phantasy Star in any of the Phantasy Star series, if I recall. So this is kind of different.
Yeah, no, they never did. It was always in cutscenes and things like that.
So yeah, pilot maneuver check, which is Dex plus save bonus.
The closest thing I could think of, if we wanted to apply this anywhere in the series, is it would probably be the Idolas from Phantasy Star, from Idola Phantasy Star Saga, because you basically combined a whole bunch of characters to create the Idola.
Yep. Well, I never played Idola, and it's unfortunately probably going to be declared non-canon into the future, but yeah, this is something that almost never came up in the Phantasy Stars, in the classic Phantasy Star, and it never came up in Phantasy Star Online either. So
yeah,
and this is also a whole lot of stuff that I am not sure about either. Like, hull points is kind of confirmed, but
probably how much health the ship has left, if I had to guess.
Yep. But this is basically where I have absolutely no clue, and this is possibly something that's brought over from, what was it, Esper Genesis system. So
Well, I'm sure the book will explain it in quite a bit more detail here, how ship-to-ship combat might work, or depending upon the situation. I mean, how a ship might attack just characters out on the field. I know that sounds overpowered, but frankly, if you're playing a tabletop game smart, then you would take advantage of that sort of thing when you can.
Yep. And I also wonder if Starship also possibly is going to be used for other vehicles as well.
Yeah, I'm sure, like maybe even like one of those hoverboards that Ethan Weber was riding on.
Unfortunately, I don't think I have anything else to add to this. This is completely unknown to me here, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Betchagen, it was for the English version, it was Ren, and then for the Japanese version, it's actually a shortened name from the name Ciaran. But yeah, it looks like they give you options to like add on a whole bunch of different defenses, giving yourself a whole bunch of weapon systems as well. And then patch repair, I suspect, is when the ship gets damaged and you need to patch things up so that you don't, get blown out into space without a spacesuit on.
Well, patch and repair, that might actually be the ship's equivalent of hit dice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's obvious they put a lot of thought into what they've done with this system, and it's we'll have to see how it ends up playing out.
It's actually one of the brightest parts of the franchise right now. I have a lot more hope for this than I currently have for New Genesis. So, if anyone from the tabletop is watching, sees this eventually, I am rooting for you guys to do well. Okay, we are really hoping this turns out to be good.
Yeah, definitely. I know you've only got the plan right now is to just release the adventure around Dr. Levino, but hopefully you're able to create some of the other adventures that you were talking about on some of those streams. So, yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say about this?
Nothing else really catches my eye that much.
All right.
It's just Starship does catch me off guard because it's not something that really comes up a lot in Phantasy Star. It's usually you get on the Starship and you're just flying somewhere.
Yep. But I could see how it could play out. Say you're launching from, if we take the instance of Phantasy Star Universe, let's say you're launching from the Guardians colony and you need to make your way over to one of the seed nests. And well, what do you know? The seed have a whole bunch of defenses set up. You've got to basically get your way inside that seed nest, and so you're being attacked on your ship as you're trying to fly in. Kind of similar to how the end of Phantasy Star Universe Episode 1 played out. So, yeah, I could see where a system like this becomes key to have, so that things can actually play out with a chance of your characters just not making it to their destination.
Typically, though, it's bad form to actually make it so that basically, I mean, there's probably going to be characters that can't do anything to help with ship combat combat, so it's kind of usually bad form for a GM to outright kill the characters on a ship should it fail. So I would actually expect it would be probably good practice to have at least escape pods or something to let the characters survive the destruction of their ship.
And maybe that's where the special features section comes into play. I'm trying to highlight, and it just keeps highlighting other things here. But that's PDFs for you. All right. So that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to cover here today. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up here today, Rooks?
That was it. That was it for me as well.
All right. So we'll see how things play out with the story again in New Genesis. We're expecting that to be another 15-minute affair, but yeah, there's still a lot of stuff happening even throughout the community, and that's why I keep covering all this stuff because there is a whole lot more out there if you're unaware of it. So, but that's going to do it for us today. I'm looking forward to at least some of the stuff that's coming up here, and yeah, that brings us to the end of this episode. On behalf of Rooks and myself, thank you for joining us today. Day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a good day.